Oh, that is a $1 million footage.
Hello and welcome to a video update for my channel, my own personal channel. That's why you're here. This is my own Stuart Warne channel, nothing else to call it, it's just that. And it's been about maybe almost up to 2 years since I first posted a video on this channel, just basically explaining what I want this channel to be. Now, what happened at that point, I did say that there wouldn't be very much in the way of regular content, and of course there wasn't, because I've been very busy with various bits and pieces, as most of you are aware of now. This is now a new year. It's now, you're watching this in the first day, hopefully, of January 2020, so new beginnings, as it were. Now, my own situation, I'm still here in the Netherlands. I've got my good friend Tom behind the camera there.
Hello.
I had worked for Motion RC for a few years, moved on from them now, finished working for them last year, just pretty much doing my own thing here, keeping the lights on, but I have more time now to indulge in my personal projects in this RC hobby of ours, and it is a great hobby. So I just want to share more of that stuff with you. What I want to do as one of my personal projects is to increase the content for this channel. Now, I'm not entirely sure what form that content's going to take. I know I've got a lot of my own personal projects, and this is one of them. We'll come on to this in just a minute. But I think I want to push more of that kind of stuff. Personal models that really interest me, second-hand models that I buy since I've been back in Europe for the past 2 years. I've really enjoyed spending my money buying some really nice second-hand models that I really enjoy restoring and bringing back to life. That's a great element of the hobby, I think, something to get very excited about. I've also been exposed to models from other manufacturers, and I think what I'll probably do is end up reviewing a few here on this channel, just because I want to, because it's something I want to try. Also, engines. I've really got back into engines, especially glow engines, because that reminds me very much of my youth. So I'm probably going to do a few videos on engines as well, mostly 4-strokes, maybe a few 2-strokes as well. But basically, it's the premise of the channel remains the same. It's going to be things, it's going to be content based on things that I enjoy and have an interest in, and hopefully you have a similar interest in too. Now, I'm going to kickstart this reintroduction of the channel, if you like, with a flight review, you can call it that, of a model that I brought here in the Netherlands maybe about 6 months ago, and it's this. It's a Toni Clark just over quarter scale Super Cub. This is done in a Dutch scheme. I brought this model built and with some finishing done on it. I finished it off myself with a few bits and pieces. If you come a little closer, Tom, this is electric power, by the way. We'll do cutaway footage now, but I've added multiplex connectors to make the wings easier to connect. I've furnished a pilot in the cockpit. It's got, I'll just put that down here. It's got a nice access hatch now, Tom. I think you can see that there. So with that access hatch, what I can do is access the batteries and the pilot and the receiver easily. Now, in terms of the electronics, I do have a HobbyWing gyro in here. Now, I'm not a fan of gyros at all, but then I saw Tom behind the camera fly his Freewing F22, which is already an amazing flying model. He put a gyro in it, and I thought, oh, Tom, why are you doing that? It's stupid. But Tom, I flew it then, didn't I?
Yeah.
And it does make a difference, right? I was really surprised. So
nice.
I'm feeling a little bit converted now. Now, Cubs, I've always been told, benefit from a gyro. But I've had 7 or 8 Cubs in my life, and none of them have really needed it until I got this one. Now, in calm conditions, it doesn't need it, but as soon as the wind picks up a bit, it felt like it needed a little bit of assistance. So I put the HobbyWing gyro in here now, and what I want with a big model, I want a model that I can fly more often than not, and more often than not, it's windy. So the gyro in here really helps. You can see from the cutaway footage, but basically I've got it installed under there, nice and neatly installed with my FR Sky receiver. So that's a new thing for me. I've never really used gyros, never been an advocate for them, but it works very well, as you'll see on this. So this is a tennis setup. It's running 2 Turnigy 5000 mAh 5S packs. It's got a G160 Power G160 brushless outrunner, and it's running a 19x10 propeller. Flight times I get around 10 minutes with, it doesn't need a lot of power. It's got good power, but it doesn't need a lot of power. I cruise mostly at half throttle, which is exactly what you want for a Cub. And now with the gyro especially, it's really beautiful. He did a great job in the actual construction. I'm really pleased with the model. And again, what I love with the second-hand models is you get the opportunity to buy something actually quite unique. There's a lot of foamies out there, and foamies are great and I love them, but you can't get something like this in a foamy model. It's all fully built up. It's a Toni Clark model, very nicely built. It's all balsa, plywood, and beautifully detailed. It's got my favorite covering material, which is Solar Text, and this has been airbrushed very nicely. It has been done too. Weight wise, Toni Clark says it should be between 8 and 10 kilos. Mine's bang on 9 kilos, so I'm very happy with that. It's got some LED details and whatnot, but it's a very fine looking Cub. And Tom, you usually fly jets, but even you like
yeah,
this one,
I
right?
really like it.
It looks
Yeah.
good. Now this is a Dutch scheme. It's primarily these Super Cubs are used for observation, artillery spotting, stuff like that. But with the bright orange on the front, that denotes they was part of a training squadron. And what this bright orange does for me is really help it stand out in the sky. And you'll see that when we roll the flight video. I've got 2 onboard cameras. Hopefully they work out well for us. One under the wing, one at the top here. Hopefully that will give you a little bit of an in-flight perspective. And like I said, you're going to see, hopefully, more of these types of videos on this channel. And that's the other thing. By committing to giving you more content, it's gonna I'm making a commitment to myself to get a lot of these projects done, because if you see my garage, Tom, you've seen it.
Yep.
There's just all these old projects hanging up. It's like many other people's garages around the world. All these projects that are just stacking up. I need to get them done. So this is if nothing more, it's an encouragement for me to get those projects done, and to bring you guys along for the ride. So enough of blabbing about the channel itself. Let's go on and give a little flight overview of the Toni Clark quarter scale Super Cub. Okay, so safety switch off, motor's ready to go. Maybe we should wait until he's flying at least.
He will crash.
Yeah. Let's just get on it.
Oh, look at the lights.
That's good, right? Let me let him take off first.
All right.
Alright, so we've got a little bit of traffic in the air, but that's okay. I'm just going to try and talk up as much as I can. Not on a camcorder now or on Tom's phone, but the model's big enough that we should pick it up. Tom tells me we're on a 5-minute limit though on the video recording.
Maximum.
So let's get it up there. Now I got my gyro gain set at around 25%. It's adjustable via the transmitter. I'm going to take off with mid flaps and only about half throttle. Taking off. Right, Tom.
I'm ready.
Alright, that's not recording. Come around and give that another sync clap, please, Tom. Okay.
Good.
I'll cut around that. Foldable cameras, you've got to sync up. Right, so ready for takeoff. This is 10S, remember. Taking off. There's the wind. Easing up the throttle. Lovely, look at that. Climbing up with flaps at half throttle. Going to kick the rudder in now. Take the flaps off. Keep the power on a bit. And she is a real pussycat. Now this is the kind of throttle setting you want just for typical Cub flying. How's that looking there, Tom?
Yeah, it's good.
We've got someone coming down low.
Nice light.
Look at that. It's a Dutch Cub over the Dutch skies, holding a little bit of opposite rudder there. Tom, hopefully those colours are really sticking out nicely. Now look at this for power. That's full throttle, which I never would really need on the Cub. But if you remember, and if you've seen the other videos on my channel, I've got that 3rd scale Cub, and that was distinctly lacking in power. That's by comparison. What I want for that 3rd scale Cub is this kind of power, so that's another project for later. I'm actually going to be upgrading that 3rd scale Cub to a 70cc as opposed to the 50 that it's got on it now. How's that looking, Tom?
Nice colors.
Yeah, look, yeah. Do you feel a little pride inside you now with those Dutch colours? There we go. And you can do a little stall turn off the top there. So quite a bit of traffic. Let's stay clear of that. Now you see what I mean about that orange colour?
Yeah, you can really see it good.
I'm not really a fan of training schemes. I used to think they spoilt the looks of it, of military aircraft, but actually, as I'm getting older, it really helps. This is again cruising just under half throttle. It carries really nice, and that gyro is helping. It's not so windy, but it does help. So I'm going to bring it around, and we'll do a touch and go. Now, one thing I like to do with Cubs, and I don't really think it's a good Cub unless it can do it, is one wheel touch and go. So I'll come around again now. Touch and go from the left. As with all Cubs, with or without gyros, you've got to coordinate the turns and initiate the turn with rudder first. I'm using barely any aileron. I'll just use a bit of aileron now just to get the wing over. Flare it a bit. Oh, bit of a bouncer. And there we go, one wheel touch and go. Lovely jumping. You see that, Tom?
Yep, perfect.
Now, one thing I've noticed with that camera on the top, for whatever reason, it's making my tail a little more sensitive. Maybe the gyro is struggling to compensate for the extra drag on that. But that's okay.
The tail's in the turbulence now.
Yeah, maybe. So anyway, I'm going to take it up a bit. I hope you guys can still hear me over that nitro. And I'm going to do some basic aerobatics. Alright, going up full power and looping now. Now you wouldn't really see a Cub loop, I don't think, much in real life. They can do it. And when they do it, I think they would do it like that, kind of like the eye of the needle. You're not going to get massive, perfectly round loops with a Cub. So doing a loop like that, I think it still looks very authentic. I can even try and do a roll. It's not something I'd really want to do with the Cub, but just to show that it can do it. Right, Tom, coming around. Now, I'm still in low rate, so I'm going to need a bit of rudder in this roll. Full power, and up and rolling over. Oh, there we go. But, like I said, you don't really want to be doing rolls with a Cub. They can do it, but it's not how I like to fly these models. I got to talk up a bit now because that nitro is coming in. Sorry if I'm shouting on the audio. And Tom, I think I'll bring it a little closer for you now, right?
Yeah, would be nice.
Right, this is mid flaps. Let's see how low and slow we can get it. God, that looks good. And I got a pilot in there as well that you'll see, held on with magnets. Just see that landing light coming on. How's that, Tom?
Perfect.
Look at that. Ah, that's slow and it's still maintaining. Got another model going off there. Lots of rudder in that just to bring it around. Catch it on the elevator. Still got mid flaps. That's cruising so nice. Right, I'm going to do a full power pass now, just to give you an idea of the kind of speed I've got on tennis. Full power now. It's pretty fast.
It's pretty fast.
For a Cub. I'll bring it round.
You passed
down.
5 minutes already.
Have I? Is it still recording?
It is.
Alright, good. Low pass, right, left. Too fast for a Cub, but it's got it in reserve, which I like. So I think I've pretty much shown you what it can do now. I'm going to bring it in for a landing, and I'm going to go full flaps on this. Hey, look at those flaps. I love flaps. I really, really love flaps on a model, and they look great on a Cub. That's why I prefer the Super Cub over the J3. I lost my concentration, so I'm going to do that again. Ready?
Ready?
I think I slowed down too much. But that just shows that the Cub can take it. Alright, here we go. Flaps off, power on. My timer's probably getting a little low, or my batteries are, because in all honesty, before we recorded this, I did an extra flight, so I've really got to bring it in. Let's just try mid flaps. I think I maybe slowed it up a bit too much on full flaps. Landing, left, right. Okay, a bit more power this time. Let it ease in. Ah, no. Why am I doing... Alright, Tom, we'll have to... Don't cut the camera, but I have to, because I can't... That camera's really making a difference.
Yeah?
Yep. Alright, so here we go. I'll do it now with mid flaps. Let it come in, and I can usually do quite a greaser with this model. The camera is adding some additional drag that's making it a little bit difficult. Got a bit of speed there. Keep the power on. Flare.
That's good.
Just nosed over a little bit there. Convinced it's that camera on the top because it's never really done that before. Yeah.
Land it close, please, Stuart.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Look at how lovely display this.
Anyway, coming in, I go into full rates on the elevator when taxiing, just to keep that tail down. And now I'm going to turn the throttle off. It's safe. And that's the Super Cub quarter scale from Toni Clark. My version of it, 10S, electric powered. It's a pussycat. Thank you very much, and I'll see you for the next video.